All right, rerun that shit. Run it back. I already know what the segment is going to be called. It's going to be called The Truth About James DeVita. That's this guy's name. I remember the last name, DeVita, but it's James DeVita, not Anthony, like I thought earlier. Okay. So, in order for this segment to work, I kind of have to dox myself. I'm in Arlington, Virginia. And this is relevant because Virginia has elections in the off year. It's 2025, which is Virginia's election year. Instead of other states that have elections on the even-numbered years, we have them on the odd-numbered years. So, around this time, because the Democratic Party primary is the only election that really matters, the Democratic Party has a very strong control over the county. The primary season is really what decides the winner of the election. So that's when all the most intense campaigning happens, right? So you get signs in the local area, you get fucking flyers, you get people going around canvassing, and you get mail brochures, you get stuff in the mail. And this guy, James DeVita, actually came to my house, I think last year, or something like that. He canvassed the neighborhood. That was a really good banana placement. And he went door to door. It was him, it was the actual guy. So credit to him for that. And he talked to us about his platform and whatnot. And so ever since then, we've been aware of him, and we've been seeing signs for him and stuff. And recently, I actually wasn't sure how to feel about him because he is the whitest suburbanist looking man that you maybe have ever seen. A lot of his political identity is around opposing something called the missing middle, which can go either way. For those of you not familiar, the missing middle is a joke policy. It is a halfway measure that fixes nothing and pleases no one. Basically, the NIMBYs don't want anything to be built, and the YIMBYs want development to happen. They want apartments to be built and affordable housing to be built and shit like that. And missing middle is you don't build apartments or affordable housing, but you do build duplexes and townhouses, but there's no mixed use zoning and there's no amenities or public transit. Basically, you just make suburbs with all the problems of suburbs, but slightly more dense. Like I said, it fixes nothing and it pleases no one. Everybody hates it, which is why you'll get fucking boomers on the homeowners association and young student communists shaking hands on the one shared position they have, which is fucking despising the missing middle. Nobody likes it except for neoliberal bureaucrats who really love to pat themselves on the back when they means test a program so hard that it gives a $10 tax cut to 5 people, right? That's the context of the mail that I received here. So here's the mail. Actually, I'll go to I don't know if you guys can see that. If you look at my webcam, there's the guy, right? That's his picture, James DeVita. That's him. And then you can see his name there. And then on this flyer, on the back, there's some information here. I wanna go through a little story because my dad and I went and researched this guy's policy positions yesterday. This got us really interested and really fired up. So I'm for, because this guy's a Democrat, there's some boilerplate positions. I'm for fighting to protect our federal workers, expanding internship and after-school programs. That is actually good. Bringing new businesses to Arlington. That doesn't mean anything, and more so is just an indication of his neoliberalism, because neoliberals are all about reducing taxes to incentivize businesses to invest. Filling vacancies in the police, fire, and sheriff departments. Already a red flag going up. Now, we support the fire department because they fucking hate the cops, but we don't support the cops. Because the cops do all of jack shit. They do not need more personnel to do jack shit and leech off of taxpayer money. There is not a crime problem in Arlington, I promise you. Even the paper-thin veneer of a justification for broken windows policing doesn't exist in Arlington. It's really just a virtue signal for people who think that the cops do anything, or also to the people that are really racist and don't want black people in the neighborhood. You know? So already, things are not looking great, you know? We've got a couple positives, you know, supporting internships and after-school programs, and then we've got, like, one mixed signal, which is opposing the missing middle, and then there's like a pretty glaring negative, which is, yeah, support hiring more people for the police department. Fuck the police department, actually. Now I know I could be like not making too many friends with that, but I promise there is a really big punchline to this this whole scenario that I'm setting up here. I just can't. It's kind of hard for me to get to that while driving. The next one is also a mild positive: more bike lanes and EV charging stations. Now, I've lived in Arlington my whole life, which makes me a pretty rare kind of person. Since it's a suburb of DC, you get a lot of people here who are like military brats or who have families that work in the federal government, people that move around a lot. So I remember when this city, which is a county technically, but let's be real, it's a city, was way less friendly to bikes and pedestrians. So that's something, you know? And those are the things that he supports. Don't police, like, have a test to see if you're stupid enough? Yeah, if you are actually, there are a couple ideological preconditions that have to be met for you to become a cop. They won't take people if they're smart enough that they don't agree with the mission of the cops. And if you somehow are like a relatively smart person, you become a police officer, like if you have any sort of sociological education, the sociology will literally be trained out of you. They train you to be stupid as a cop. Like, I've seen training tapes of how the police are trained to deal with potential like dispute scenarios or whatever. They have no de-escalatory training. They're trained to view literally everything as a threat. The only thing you accomplish by putting yourself in the presence of a cop is increasing the danger that you could be shot to death. Basically. Now let's get to the things that he opposes. I oppose the missing middle. I talked about that earlier. Can tell based on their aura. Yeah, cops have fucking, like, unhinged aura. And thumb phrenology, which is not a good combination. So, that's the first thing. The second thing that he opposes. I oppose the size and density of the Riverhouse and Melwood projects. Now, what are those? Let's actually, I'm going to open a tab here, editing me, put this in, edit some of the screenshots in. Let's look up Riverhouse project. Now, Riverhouse is a neighborhood in Arlington. Because it's a county, there are several different, like, downtown areas. Since the place has been, like, densifying, more people have been moving here. Here, let's look Arlington County website, arlingtonva.us, Riverhouse neighborhood. There's some location data. And then it says status, under review. About the project, there's a construction project going on for the Riverhouse neighborhood. Existing site development. This is what they plan to. This is the site that they're planning to develop. Existing site development includes 3 multifamily buildings with surface parking lots. The James House, 452 units. The Potomac House, 647 units. And the Ashley House, 577 units. So we have some apartment buildings there. That's what's in the Riverhouse neighborhood currently. This project would propose to keep these buildings. Nothing's being demolished, at least not in the way of residential buildings. People can still live there. Nobody has to move. And rezone the entire site to, what is it? RA615. I don't know exactly what that zoning designation is. Future me, please edit in a little text blurb to you know, say what RA615 means. Local zoning codes are very Byzantine. and construct infill development. Basically, that means build other things on the plot of land where there is space. Via what is it? Phase development site plan. Under the proposed plan, the maximum development potential would be 4,461 dwelling units and 14,000 square feet of retail. That would be approved over time, and it would consist of a new 7-story multifamily building with ground floor retail. So the first thing that they're announcing specifically that they want to build, purely additive, they're not going to destroy anything, they're not going to demolish anything. The first thing that they say they want to build is, yeah, the county government plans to build a multifamily apartment unit that is mixed use and has stores on the ground floor. That's just the first thing that comes up when you look at what they're building as part of this project. Feels like the homeowners are going to come and destroy this plan. Don't spoil it, because yes, that's exactly what's happening. Okay, new 7-story multifamily building with ground floor retail. Future final site plans. Multifamily residential building. 0.4 parking spaces per unit per building. So they're cutting down on the proportional amount of parking as well. That's on the first land bay. The second land bay, this is another part of this site, they're going to construct up to 3 new buildings. Multifamily residential, 7 stories, same parking density. The next building, multifamily residential, same parking density, up to 16 stories, up to 366 units. Multifamily residential, again, up to 250 feet, excuse me. 325 units, same parking density. And then finally, townhouses, 127 units, parking 1.61 spaces per unit, 4 stories. So, to sum up, the River House project, this is the first thing that he opposes, that I take issue with. The River House project is going to build, it looks like 5 or 6 different multifamily housing developments, one of which is townhouses, the rest of which are apartment buildings, and one of them, at least, being mixed-use apartment buildings with retail stores on the bottom floor. So literally, like, densification in a way that makes this resemble probably a bit more a European city. If you look at the area right now, there are those 3 apartment buildings. There is a satellite image provided of the neighborhood as it exists right now. There's currently the 3 apartment buildings, which are not mixed-use zoning. There's no retail. There's no, like, nothing to do there. And there's, like, around it is just typical suburban development. It's just single-family units or potentially some townhouses as well. I think there's townhouses. I remember being in that neighborhood a little while ago. I think we were driving through for something. But yeah, it's mostly, it's actually sickening. If you look at Arlington, as many people as there are living here, it's mostly single family units, right? So basically, they're not even saying that we're going to destroy, like, existing buildings. They're not even going to demolish anything. We're just going to build more multifamily units with mixed use zoning. That's the first project. Right? The second thing, the second thing that James DeVita opposes, that he's taking it upon himself to say, yeah, I don't like this, is something called the Melwood Project. Melwood is another neighborhood in Arlington, Virginia. And you'll never fucking guess what the project calls for to be built. I'll get to the details in a second, but, you know. Can I make this in just a star? I can. Ooh, fun. I'm gonna start using this, I think. I bet the house owners woke up, heard that, and they're like hell you will. Yeah, and that's what I'm kind of getting at with James DeVita's platform. And I'll go on like a massive ideological spiel about him once I've outlined the details of all the things that he opposes here. You know? And of course, I race like shit this race, but, you know, bear with me. Eighth place, whatever. I probably deserve 8th for how badly I raced. In addition, per the Pentagon City sector plan... Oh, that's actually not it for the River House project. The applicant will work with staff to provide the following targeted community benefits. Expansion of Virginia Highlands Park through land dedication. Construction of realigned segment of South Joyce Street. So they're expanding a park. Creation of green ribbon segments throughout the site. So they're trying to get some green space in here. Creation of additional public space on the site, totaling at least 2.5 acres. Trying to make some publicly accessible space. Very nice. Easement of up to 30 feet wide for South Joyce Street streetscape. And protected bicycle facility. So they're trying to make the street more pedestrian and bike friendly and less automotive focused. And at least 10% on-site committed affordable housing units. Bonus density only. I don't know what bonus density only means, but at least 10% on-site committed affordable housing, which means like rent control rate, rent stabilization, right? That's the River House project. Now let's take a look at Melwood project. Here we go. Melwood site, arlingtonva.us. Location, 750 23rd Street South. That's a location in Arlington. We get another satellite photo about the project. Project description. The applicant, which is a real estate development company. Of course, we hate real estate development companies, but in this instance, we actually hate homeowners even more for opposing this shit. Because of what they are planning to do here. This applicant proposes the construction of a new 5-story mixed-use building consisting of, here's the punchline, 100% affordable housing units. Mixed-use, all affordable housing. These are not luxury condos. These are rent-controlled, rent-stabilized units. Oop. I hit a wall. Oops. And get this. Okay, it gets even better. Listen to this thing that James DeVita, local politician running for public office, opposes. Mixed-use zoning, 100% affordable units for low-income families, and ground floor institutional space for a non-profit providing job training for disabled people. Literally, he looked at, wow, this project is all affordable housing, is being built in a, like, I don't know, in a suburban neighborhood where there's otherwise not that much to do. It's going to help low-income families. It's mixed use. There's stuff to do on the ground floor. And it's got job training for disabled people. Jesus Christ himself may as well have designed this plan. Yeah, I oppose that. Dog, you're Hitler. Partnership between Wesley Housing Development Corp. and Melwood Horticultural. The proposal consists of 105 committed affordable units and approximately 17,000 square foot of institutional space for Melwood workforce development and day services programs for people with disabilities. The proposal has a maximum building height of up to 60 feet, 5 stories, so this is a mid-rise, and incorporates step backs, on the second and fourth floors. The site is located in the Melwood Special Land Use Study area. I see. New site plan request for the construction of a new 5-story mixed use. What is there currently? Site is currently... here we go. This would actually be demolishing something in order to build it. But what is it demolishing? Currently occupied by the Melwood Horticultural Training Center. Which is... here. Which is housed in the former Nellie Custis School building, originally constructed in 1923 and subsequently added to, and its associated surface parking area. So there's a horticultural training center and parking that's going to be demolished in order to build a mid-rise apartment with job training for disabled people. And like other commercial zoning, I think. Site is bordered by a low-density commercial building to the west, the Mormon Church, and a low-density commercial building to the north, Methodist Church in the east, and a park to the south. Damn, so this is just like a good project. Proposed modifications for additional density. Reduced residential parking ratio, 0.7 spaces per unit. So this is, okay, this is literally like everything good you could want in a development project. It's all affordable housing, it's mixed use, there's job training for fucking disabled Americans, and they're cutting down on parking density. And they're modernizing the infrastructure of the area. This building, like I said, this older building that was there was built in 1923. And so far, James DeVita has looked at both of these and been like, yeah, I oppose that. I don't want that, actually. Oop. Oh, these are cataquacks. Okay. I thought these were like big Goombas that were reskinned. Alright, I'm gonna use one of these here. Liberals wonder why bad stuff is happening. Yeah, damn, I wonder why bad things are happening when literally all of my local activism is solely being used to prevent affordable housing from being built and to ensure that line goes up for my property value at the expense of fucking everybody else's, like, life. Seriously, rent prices, let me fucking tell you how bad the rent situation is in Arlington, Virginia, which is you know, the county, again, in question here, where this guy's running, where I live. Rent-controlled units approach and exceed $2,000 per month. That's the rent-controlled units in this fucking area. Which means that's the low end. You could very easily, like, if you're looking for, God, it doesn't even have to be luxury apartments, just something that's, like, not rent stabilized. You're looking at $3,000 to $4,000 per month. Dollars, US. That's more than some people fucking make in a month. Depending on your wage. Now, obviously, like, in this area, jobs tend to pay a little bit more, so it's likely you'll be making a bit more than $3,000 to $4,000 per month, depending on what job you have here. But, like, you realize how insane that is. Even if you're making more than $3,000 or $4,000 per month, how much are you clearing that by? How much is rent going to be the fucking, like, biggest expense in your budget, right? Like, people can't fucking afford that. It doesn't matter if you're making, like, you could be making $72,000 per year, right? That's a clean $6,000 per month. And rent is still 50% or more of your budget if you're not in a rent-stabilized unit. Society likes to hide what rent cost is, so it creates conflict. Yeah. And because a lot of wages are measured hourly and not monthly, they kind of hide how much your income is as a proportion of, like, expenses and stuff. It's fucked up. But those are the first two. Those are the first two plans. Now let's get to the third one. So the next thing he opposes, that was all from the second bullet point. The third thing that he opposes is the county board's plan to build the Hotel Pentagon project in Green Valley. Let's look up Hotel Pentagon project. Let's see what that is. 2480 South Glebe Road. Hotel Pentagon site. Location, 2480 South Glebe Road. I already gave the address. Site is currently occupied by the Hotel Pentagon and Comfort Inn Pentagon City. These are chain hotels. The site is bordered by the Zion Church. This is a black church. And warehouses to the west. 24th Road South and the Alistair Arlington Ridge Apartments to the north. South Glebe Road and Bell Arlington Ridge Apartments to the east. And warehouses and the I-395 on-ramps. So interstate highway to the south. And there's another satellite image. I'll be sure to include all these satellite images in the editing. Project application. Let's see what the details are of this. The applicant, CC Rock Arlington Owner LLC. Again, a real estate company, which we hate, but we hate homeowners more. Thank you. Because whenever, like, the only time homeowners ever act at a local, like, politics level is when a real estate company decides to do something maybe good for once, and then homeowners are like, nuh-uh, not on my watch. All the time that real estate companies are doing bad things, they sort of passively oppose it, but, like, don't actually do anything about it. It's when they decide, like, yeah, what if we, like, got this contract with the county government to build, like, affordable housing units? Then homeowners are like, not on my watch, sir. Oops. Yeah, you must keep the boot on the neck. If you let up, then, the people might realize that life could be better, potentially. Oops. I'm just going to start using this. Mock Bike is so fucking good. Alright. Proposes to demolish 2 existing hotels. So those are the chain hotels. And the media wonders why Luigi happened. Oh, no, they know exactly why Luigi happened. They just want to, they want to gaslight us into believing that there's, like, no reason that Luigi happened. But yes, the contrast between them performatively going, like, wow, how could this happen? And then, like, this shit is absolutely staggering. So this project seeks to demolish these 2 chain hotels and build up to 531 residential units. The proposal consists of 5 buildings. No. Let's see, up to 5 buildings. No. Of 5 buildings, not up to 5. Which includes a multifamily building, wrapped around an above-grade parking structure, a townhouse building, and 3 townhouse-style multifamily buildings. These are, I think, outdoor apartments, if I'm not mistaken. Or they're just, like, denser townhouses. To facilitate redevelopment of the site, the proposal includes a change to the GLUP designation. I don't know what that acronym means. Editing me, please put that on screen. From service industry to medium residential. Service industry is the designation where you would build something like a hotel. Medium residential would be, townhouses and mid-rises. So they're changing the zoning designation to allow for this. And an amendment to the Master Transportation Plan map. Here's the big kicker for this one. To add a new segment of... Wait, no, I thought this was something different. Never mind, ignore that, lefty misinfo. Master Transportation Plan map, they're just editing the streets, basically, to flow a little bit differently. For a second, I thought I remembered it being like, yeah, we're going to put, like, bus stations and train stations, but no, they're not doing that. They're not, we gotta calm down, they're not that base, they're just doing some, like, mildly good stuff. Well, this is more than mildly good, it's a lot more in the way of, multifamily housing. So, let's see. Additional project details include 531 total units, 494 in the multifamily building, 37 townhouse and townhouse style units, 3 new streets, public open space, 549 total parking spaces. So this one maybe not as great on the parking proportions and whatnot, but still, multifamily housing is multifamily housing, and I will fucking take that, because it seems like somebody is finally treating Arlington like the city it is instead of the county that it used to be. And of these parking spaces, 512 will be in the garage for the multifamily unit, and 37 will be for the townhouses and townhouse units. I accidentally got a fucking slip drift, and it fucking messed up my execution of the shortcut. So now, actually, I feel like this is an apt point, because those are the 3 projects that that Mr. James DeVita has not only opposed publicly, but literally made it a selling point of his campaign that he opposes them, right? Proposal number 1. Mixed-use apartment buildings with no demolition, 10% of which at least are dedicated affordable housing, right? Project number 2 is exclusively affordable housing that a existing like horticultural building will be demolished in order to build, with a ground floor dedicated to job training and such for disabled Americans. And building number 3, multifamily units that will replace a fucking chain hotel next to the highway. And he looked at that, he was like, okay, we have densification and mixed-use zoning and green space and, you know, more pedestrian-friendly streets and affordable housing and more affordable housing and job training for disabled Americans. And, you know, more multifamily units, getting rid of a chain hotel in the area. If anybody in America knows what chain hotels are like, you know that it's a fucking blighted, it's a fucking blight on the fucking town around it. It's basically like, you know what tourism does to other countries? It does that same thing domestically, and chain hotels are a part of that. James DeVita looked at all that and said, yeah, no, I oppose that. I don't like that. Like, you might as well, look, you might have actually, like, fucking, the liberals' image of Jesus Christ himself may as well have designed these, like, urban development plans to build more affordable housing and more multifamily units and making neighborhoods more walkable without, by the way, displacing any residents. That's the most important thing. Throughout all 3 of these projects, not a single residential building is planned for demolition. Every single house and apartment that currently exists across these 3 project sites are going to remain intact. They're just going to, where possible, build new ones, some of which have mixed-use zoning, and many of which are affordable housing designation units. And this guy was like, that's bad, actually. I don't want that. I don't want more multifamily units in my fucking city. I want suburbia. I don't want the missing middle. I don't want townhouses. I don't want apartments. I only want single-family homes. Like, brother, you are just Hitler. I feel like most of the ideological spiel that I kind of wanted to give has already been made for this. Like, there was a developing realization. I was looking at this yesterday with my dad. We got this flyer in the mail, and we were like doing research on his phone. He was looking up these projects and like what this guy was about. Like, what is it that he's opposing here? Literally, like, this would go, like, start to fix some of the things that are wrong with Arlington County. Some of the things that have, like, made it harder for me and probably everybody else in the city to live life, things that have made it like hostile to pedestrians, things that have enabled gentrification, this would start to fix that. Look, part of gentrification, granted, is that there are like luxury multifamily units built at a slow enough pace that it just has the effect of pricing out low-income residents. But when you're building enough multifamily units, hell, across all of these, there's something like almost 2,000 multifamily housing units being built, or excuse me, housing units, not multifamily use. That would be the buildings themselves. There's something like 2,000 new housing units being built just in these 3 projects, and that's like, that actually will have the effect, because they're like big projects in different neighborhoods. This will have the effect of basically increasing the supply of housing. Look, I'm not usually a free market, like, supply-demand economics Andy, but it is the truth that, you know, if you acknowledge that landlords just want to fucking increase the price on you any single chance that they get, then having so much housing that there's like constantly like availability being created makes it actually harder for them to come up with a viable excuse to increase those prices. If you're a landlord, you're concerned with squeezing your tenants' balls as hard as you possibly can. Jessimurph, thank you for the follow. And welcome to the stream. There is actually a point where, as a landlord, there's enough housing. If there's constantly new housing being built, as a landlord, there is a point beyond which you actually can't squeeze your tenants' balls any harder, because otherwise you've got all these properties that you own that are going to depreciate in value because nobody's fucking living there and you're not maintaining them, and you have to incur costs to maintain them. But they're also too expensive for people to move in. There's a push and pull there that leads to the dynamic that if you build more housing at a quick enough pace, the price of housing goes down. It is pretty straightforward in that way. And if you consistently build more housing for a growing city, then pricing will consistently not skyrocket. The reason that prices are so bad in Arlington is because it's all single-family suburban blight, and the fucking contractors haven't built anything because shitheads like this fucker right here, look at this motherfucker, this guy is like keeping housing prices from decreasing. And people like him, other people like him, by opposing new like construction categorically, they're keeping the issue exactly the same. Nothing will be fixed if you do nothing, fucking moron. To me, liberals are the extremists. I think everyone deserves human rights. Yeah, this is like legitimately the liberal position that this guy is espousing. This James DeVita individual who's running for local office in my city. This guy is the extremist. People will look at me and be like, you're a communist, you're an extremist. No, motherfucker. What I am is I'm like well-read on affordable housing policy. This motherfucker is the extremist. He wants housing prices to continue to skyrocket. This is going to lead to the like pricing out of black residents and low-income families. This is going to lead to gentrification, not the fucking development projects that he's opposing. Jesus. Like, yeah, do they have problems? Obviously, every development project has, like, problems and flaws. And in fact, if there was anything that I could do to these development projects to like, edit them, I would have them, like, basically have less parking, more affordable housing, and, like, have there be more of them, right? Like, those are the flaws for these development projects. But, like, you cannot argue that this would not mean a significant amelioration of the issue here. This guy is just anti-good things if it means that line has to go down for property owners. Guys, I'm gonna fucking hold your hand as I say this for anybody who's like not, you know, new construction affordable housing pilled, like not densification pilled. In order for housing prices to decrease, you actually have to make line go down for homeowners. You cannot decrease housing prices but keep line going up for homeowners. That's part of the fundamental issue. The line going up is like when homeowners see their property values going up, that's just them benefiting from the housing crisis, motherfucker. That line going up, that's the housing crisis. You just benefit from that if you're a homeowner. I'm sorry. And if you try to like, you know, leverage your influence in politics to keep line going up, you're just Hitler. And I make no excuses for that, like, for that statement. I make no apologies for that statement. You're just Hitler. Seriously, this shit gets me so mad because like there are cities like Los Angeles or whatever that are experiencing a homelessness crisis, and it's plain as day to see that like every fucking house costs like $1 million, or here like 750,000, and like it's all single family unit blight, and like and nothing new is being built, and there's no like housing first approach. None of the fucking units are affordable enough for people who are on like low wage jobs to afford them. And then like NIMBYs will still come out and be like, actually we oppose this new construction. Also, why is there so many dirty homeless people and crime everywhere? Motherfucker, have you looked in the mirror? In Florida, we're cooked. We've had Project 2025 implemented for a few years now. Yeah, that shit is rough. And if I remember right, I skimmed through at the very least Project 2025 when the campaign trail was heating up. If I remember right, there are, with respect to urban politics and local politics in Project 2025, there are policy priorities in there that would straightforwardly deprioritize affordable housing. In fact, I mean, they're already, the government's just getting rid of Section 8, so we know they hate affordable housing, you know? Deprioritizing, like, affordable housing and multifamily units, like, they're focusing even more on white picket fence suburbia bullshit. This fucking guy might as well be a Republican. You are only as good of a political operative as your worst issue. And like the nominal support that this guy may have for bike lanes and for federal workers and for after school programs sounds nice and flowery, but that'll mean jack shit if you're like furthering the institutional rot of like basically like residential stagnation, of continuing gentrification, of the worsening of the housing crisis. You know. I do not respect this man. I recently got my ballot in the mail, and this video, like, I know I've gone off on this video, and people might be wondering, like, is this really relevant to people who don't live in Arlington? Not especially, I guess. I mean, be on the lookout. Whatever locality you live in, it's important to have a critical eye to look for people like this who will say stuff like, oh yeah, I support our federal workers, but then they like go on to oppose everything that would be good in local politics, right? Like, you have to approach the politics of your area with the appropriate lens. That is to say, with the local politics lens, which means if they support affordable housing, they're probably all right, you know? But the relevance to this is mostly to Arlington County. Like I said, I got my absentee ballot in the mail recently, and you know, I haven't seen who the other candidates are, so I don't know who I'm going to vote for. But I know who I'm not going to vote for, and I know who, like, if anybody else is in Arlington and is watching this, do not vote for this fucking guy. Like, sure, if you own a nice home and whatever, you know, or if your parents, like, own a nice home, or something like that, their fucking residential portfolio will benefit, but the whole county will be worse off for it. And the economic crisis that Arlington, Virginia, as well as many other cities, like the economic crisis that we've been facing is only going to worsen if you vote for this fucking guy. Do not vote for him under like any circumstance. I fucking missed the trick. God damn it. It's just a treat to trap people and then he'll remove the bike lanes later. Yeah, possibly. Although Arlington, Virginia has a reputation of being pretty bike friendly, and so far there haven't been any bike lanes that have been added and then gotten subsequently removed. Not yet anyways, but given this guy's political leanings on other issues, it wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't actually genuinely support that. I mean, for fuck's sake, he's electric vehicle pilled, you know? Bro didn't even mention public transit. And that's a ban. No soliciting. Look, to wrap all this up, don't vote for this guy. James DeVita, do not vote for him. I'm not going to vote for him. We have ranked choice voting, so it's like first choice, second choice, third choice. This guy is not cracking the list for me. He's not even making it to third choice. He's just categorically against affordable housing and like densification. Because that's like Arlington County. Arlington County is a small county. Like I said, it's basically a city. You know, it's a smaller county than Washington, D.C. is. And Washington, D.C. is a city. Arlington is smaller than D.C. And it's high time. Arlington experienced a big explosion of growth in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, and it's still experiencing that growth because DC has been like a seat of government jobs, and like in the Clinton administration, in the Bush administration, the Obama administration, like whatever, people are constantly moving to Arlington because there's good schools, there's federal work opportunities, right? That's been like the cause for growth in Arlington for a long time, and like. There's no more room to build out. It's full. There's no more room for like suburban infill development or whatever. You have to build up. And this guy's entire political identity is don't build up. Like, motherfucker, what you want is just for the city to die. And what I want is for the city to be livable and to resemble a functioning city. You know, if you wanted a small town, you should move out to a small town where there's like room to build. But, like, nobody wants that because small town America is fucking dead. You can't keep pretending that Arlington is still a small town because it's not anymore. It hasn't been for decades. You'd be like, need more money. Oh, correct. Keep putting you in sentences, yeah. Anyways, that's my issue with this guy. Again, the three projects that he opposes are all multifamily housing developments. There's no like residential developments being demolished in any of them, so it's purely additive for most intents and purposes. Yes, there's like there's one like older training facility and a chain hotel that's being demolished for some of these, but for the training facility, they're going to add in some fucking like work training for disabled Americans. Like, come on, I'm not going to shed too many tears when that's what you're going to be building as part of the new project, right? Especially when that disabled work training center is accompanied by 5 stories of exclusively affordable housing units. Like, come on. You might as well have fucking put a giant red Christmas present in front of me. You know, that's how good this is. And it, you know, for somebody in Europe, it might not even seem that good, but like understand that in America, we're so fucking starved for good urban policy. I'll take fucking anything at this point, you know? And this guy's like, no, you don't even get to have that. Fuck you. Have you considered that? Have you considered fucking yourself? And that would probably require him to take his head out of his ass and to stop looking at his portfolio nonstop. So I doubt if he has considered it. Look, I don't want to indulge too much in the character assassination, but it's clear that I do not have any respect for this guy or his politics. Don't vote for him. I don't want to keep rambling for longer than I already have been. Future me, end the segment. You got a lot of editing to do. Hopefully I get this done before the primaries. All right. Thanks for watching, and support the channel if you would be so kind.